Thanks, sir. It's going live. You're live. Let's see if it went live on the camera. Let's check it out. Yes, Independence Day will be released.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah, Independence Day will be released. It works. Now, shall we see him? Are you there, Bully? It's the 4th of July. You've been set free.
You should have sent him an email.
No, it's all good. He'll be listening. It's getting cool again. Evening, Tony.
Right, shower time, Tony.
Well, it's not said anything yet, but I have a feeling. I sense the presence and movement in the force. Evening, all. I don't even know what the time is. Oh, that's good. About 7.
Yeah.
What's the picture quality? Are you on it? Or no?
Oh, no, not yet.
Looks okay.
Well, last time you were on it was okay, and the sound was okay.
Yeah.
How's Tony?
Like, sensing there, but he's not said anything.
Eh? Oh, I thought you said hello. Yeah, this.
Oh, I
I've
just said
just-
it, thinking he was there.
I've just come in, so there's 3 lurkers.
Oh. There we go. Evening, all.
I just did a start.
Oh, yeah, I get to see it on the screen too. Didn't realise that.
Can you read it from there?
And mine's just gone in about 20 seconds slower than normal.
Do you want to pull it closer?
No,
I'll show you what I'm saying. So you could actually move the screen down a bit, or then you can't read it.
oh, okay, that's right.
I'm sort of
I should move it down
just a little bit.
there. How's that?
There.
Better?
Man, I've got to soak my feet tomorrow. Oh, well, those opiates all day. My nails.
Been on my feet all day.
Yeah, so long. That's what grandparents do.
We'll get up at 5 and start painting.
Well,
That's fine, just no one offered to help. A bit strange. No one came forward.
with the sandwiches.
Near nothing. Not even to bring them out. I got Jess to take the face out.
Lucy did taste them. Yes.
But there was too much food out there. That's why I brought some back in. Because it just would all go dry and crumpy.
Well, that's usually what happens, isn't it? Quite amazing how far 2 loaves of bread can go.
Well, it was that and your pond. I don't know how much of that.
Most of it went.
Did it?
Yes.
It was all not eaten when I came out.
No, and then when I came out to clean up.
Okay.
Pies and sausage rolls.
Well, they always disappear, don't they? Pies and sausage
I think
rolls.
could have just done that, no sandwiches, huh?
I don't know what all the little containers of sauce are for.
Pies and sausage rolls.
Well, why don't you bring it?
Because I'm a bit fancy.
Do they use it?
Yes.
Okay. SB Tickleman, good morning to you. It's evening here, but morning to you.
Hello, long time no see, SB.
Happy 4th of July. I believe the President of the United States is standing under Mount Rushmore with a hammer and chisel. trying to carve you. That'd be interesting. I don't think there's any chance that he'll get carved. Maybe carved up. No, as Bob Dylan once said, SV, the times they are a-changing. It's going to be big change. The people have spoken, and they're not happy. I did watch a report. I forget who it was through. There was 2 or 3 guests, and they were hammering Trump about how he's making Americans feel humiliated, and other countries think that way. Well, we don't think that way in Australia. We just think what could have been done to help people, and it didn't happen. And there will be a reckoning down the line in regards to how people handled this issue throughout the world, no doubt. We've got, give you an idea, in Australia, we've got 7 states and territories, and Victoria is having an outbreak. And when they say outbreak here, it's like 40 or 50 a day contracting the virus. But what they do in Australia, they've shut down the whole area of about 350,000 people. There are just police checkpoints everywhere. They're not going out of that area. And that's on 50 cases a day. There's none here where we live. But so our reaction is, right, it's dangerous. Let's just close everything down. And that's what they've done. Hello, Buttercup. What did Ticklemont say? Comical place. We did a drive by on a motorcycle years ago. Yeah, I reckon it'd be good to see. I mean, it's quite an achievement.
I don't
Sure.
send the message now. I was just about to do it, Buddy. But you got here.
I got you on the laptop tonight. Just because I had to do one thing. I couldn't do it on my phone. Stand by, Buttercup. Here's the news. It's the 4th of July. Bully has been released for now.
Welcome party for Bully. Should have done a video.
As the gates of the detention centre open and he takes that first breath of fresh air, I wonder if he'll come in. Interesting. I'm a man of my word. I've released him. Sort of on parole, I suppose.
Well, we'll see what you guys...
I won't get a chance to remove him if his behaviour is not acceptable, because everyone's going to jump in.
It's up to the girls, isn't it? You're leaving it up to the girls.
Oh, unless he said something terrible. And I'd try and get him as quick as I can. But I'm sure he's had 3 months to think. Behaviour, consequence. Behaviour, consequence. Just like real life, really, isn't it? Let's see, I go driving down the road 100 mile an hour, in a 30 mile an hour zone. I'm probably not going to get away with it.
Will he wear a mask?
I'm not sure. He normally does. We had the family over today and lots of people. I don't know how many people look. I reckon 25, 30?
No, 30.
30. They played games and ate, drank. So, good day.
I'll send you a video later, Buddy, because we won't be putting it up on YouTube. So, I'll
No,
do
we don't
the
do
videos.
family on YouTube. Don't know how many sandwiches we made, but it was a lot.
2 loaves of bread.
Awesome.
3.
2 loaves of bread, 3 loaves. And there was also what always goes first at an Australian gathering. I made heated up little pies and sausage rolls. Gone.
Man, those little ones were so cute.
Out the door. Because Aussies like that sort of stuff. If you could just serve them up pies and sausage rolls. Forget about the sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm surprised, though, that more sandwiches didn't go. Are you?
Don't know.
A lot of the nibblies went towards
Did
the
they?
end. Yes.
What about the cheese board?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sort of finger food. I did make up a soup, which we just had for dinner. A nice cream and vegetable chicken soup, which all the veggies come out of the garden, and it was yum. And I thought, nah, I just don't think they would have eaten it because they had so much food to choose from. I'm thinking they would have gone, nah. So we ate it. I gave some to my daughter to take home. So she's gobbling that down tonight as well. It was yum. It was really yum. Hello, chick. The V word ad you gotta watch before here. Yikes. Some oval plastic monthly contraceptive. Okay.
Oh, enchiladas.
So there must have been an ad about contraceptive.
Yay, look who's here for the release
VMAG,
date.
welcome. It's Independence Day. The pending release of the bully. I'm not sure if he'll turn up. We know he's been here. No, he's not here yet. Well, he could be here, let's be honest. Maybe he's sort of in anticipation, just sitting on the rim of the rim. But he gets released, but pending behaviour. Hopefully things have changed. Maybe he'll come in with flowers in his hair, you know, singing Bob Dylan songs, or John Lennon songs, or Beatles songs. Oh, we are singing. Could be.
Is give peace a
Is
chance.
Leroy lurking? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Hello, Leroy, if you're lurking. .30 a.m. we're here Saturday. All right. We'll stay on just for a little while. We'll see what happens. It's the 4th lunar eclipse. 15 hours. Stand by. Brace. 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 Chick. Relax. It's the 4th of July. So I was painting pretty early again this morning. Got all I needed to do with the rafters and beams so I could put my tin on so I don't have to paint while the tin's on, because you know what happened there.
Plus we've got rain coming again.
Rain coming later tomorrow, so I'll be able to get some more done. Then I'll send you some videos and you can see what we're up to.
Actually, our moon is big. I just checked this right, lunar eclipse, 15 hours, huh?
Dark side of the moon and fireworks. Woo! Actually, there is no dark side of the moon, by the way, chick. You know that. It doesn't spin on its axis. It follows the Earth's gravitational pull, but there is no dark side to the moon. The moon gets sunlight all over.
Can't get up.
Full buck moon. I mean, full moon, I guess you mean.
Seats and I need a foot massage.
Head to toe would be good for me. I'm sore all over.
Yeah, well, that's good what you've been doing.
But, yeah, I don't know. I hope people celebrate the 4th of July in the United States smartly. Maybe small gatherings of friends they know at home, barbecue, not in their tens of thousands down beaches or in pubs. It's going to be terrible.
Actually, seats likes a food massage, a foot massage. I'm not really keen on them. I'd rather just do my own feet.
It's only 12 there, 20 degrees colder than normal for the, oh dear, that's no good. You know what the strange thing is, VMAC, today? It was 23 degrees, but felt even warmer. It was beautiful,
It was beautiful.
warm sunlight. And so, mind you, our temperatures get around 18 to 25 at this time of the year, but they've been on the higher side. So it's brilliant. Fireworks cancelled most places. Good. We cancelled fireworks during our major firestorms. I tend to think very logically, like if you're in a situation where it's dangerous and you want to take a risk, it's dangerous to do so. Seeds, it's the protesters, you see the crowds. Well, I've seen a lot of just generalised footage from the US in the last 2 weeks, and it's like everyone's forgotten. It's that complacency, do you know what I mean? It's not just protesters. It's people gathering in large numbers down the beach. I know Buttercup would know about the one that they had at the English coast. It was just unbelievable. Tens of thousands of people just forgetting. And it's just a mathematical game. More people, more chance. It is foolishness. It's like if you had your children and you said to them, I'm going to be on the other side of the freeway and just run across whenever you like. Most of you should get there. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't risk harming other people, particularly not your own. So this thing's not going anywhere. This is the bit there where the complacency kicks in. Well, there's one today at Mount Rushmore, and I said earlier, VMAC, I'm pretty sure Trump would be at the base of Mount Rushmore with a chisel and a hammer, hoping to get an opportunity to do a self-image. And I believe no one has to wear masks, and social distancing is not existent. I mean, if you want to emphasize stupid, that's it. That's stupid. Well, our economy is just flying along here. We don't have international flights coming, but everything else is spinning as wheels. We can go to a restaurant here, pub, concert, go and watch 30,000 people go and watch a football game. But there's only one reason why we can do it. And we're all aware that it could spike somewhere in my state. We're all aware of that, but we have a protocol. As soon as that happened, they shut down. Like I said, in Victoria, 350,000 people now have 1,000 police officers with barricades saying, nope, you can't come out. That's how they do it here. We only have, like in Victoria, there's 50 cases a day. It will, Buttercup, but it's the same all over. Let's be honest, the GDP of all countries is in the toilet. So the word collapse is that we're there. You talk about a collapse, it means physical policy has to go and start spending. And like everywhere, like Roosevelt, you're going to see all these bridges and roads and little projects take place through physical spending. Because that's how it works. And the reason Roosevelt did it is that he wanted to get the wheels spinning. And that's a smart thing to do. You must give your people money so they can spend it, because it's only been in the last 50 or 60 years, but the whole economy in the US in particular is all based on consumer spending. That's how it is. Hello, Paddy. Yeah, it's the same here. We're back to normal here, except we don't have one flying in. I'll tell you what I did read today on an article from Canada is that they did a consensus. British Columbia, different than Quebec, but in Quebec, they said 22% of Quebecs would allow Americans into Canada. British Columbia was 5%. They don't want any, so they're just keeping their borders closed. Is it anti-American? No. It's simply a case of protecting Canadian people from exposure. But you will see anti-Canadian sentiment come from stupid people. So, oh, you don't let us in, you're anti-American. That's nothing to do with it. That's as simple as it goes. Australia's letting no one in. My state's not letting anyone from any other state in at the moment. And our reward for that is that our wheels are spinning, people are all back at work. It looks normal here. I'll be honest with you, this is exactly what it looks like in 2019, looks like now in my state. But we are all very well aware, even in this state where we don't have any problems with it, that if we had to, we'd shut down again. It's obvious. The economy itself was, look, if we're all being realistic, and anyone that does follow the economies of what's been happening on the planet, we were in the toilet before this started. The debt crisis around the world is just horrendous. this compounds it. This means it will be a deep following fall, followed by a very slow trickle back, because that's what history tells us. Yeah, I noticed there's a little corner bit that they drive through, BMAC. I'll give you an idea how serious they take it in Australia. 2 people from this zone in Victoria that's been locked down completely were caught entering South Australia. Okay, they were caught. Both the people are fined $8,000. I'm not making any of this up.
Yeah, SV.
Yeah, no, we like Margaret River.
That's a beautiful place.
They've even got a little zoo there. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
know about. I think, Chick, with your comment there, it won't in the US. They've gone beyond now. What will happen is certain areas, if they get really, really bad, which some of them are, they'll lock down certain areas. Just to ignore this like it's not happening is just crazy, though.
They're getting tough this time around if any suburbs are shut down in Australia and the other states.
Yeah, that infuriates me, Patty. It really does infuriate me. I've got a lot of friends in the US, and some haven't even received their check. The first one. Some are ineligible for some reason. When it comes down to it, how many months has it been? And even if you did get $1,200, that would have even covered the food bill between what happened then and now. So it does infuriate me that, like in Australia, if you all lived here in Australia and you lost your job due to the virus, you would all received every 2 weeks $1,500. If you're struggling with your mortgage, they'd freeze it. Any debts, they'd freeze. They've done this. And so no one here is angry about being hungry or going without money. Is there a cost to this in the long run? Absolutely. There's payback coming, maybe higher taxes or a lift in the GST, but what it does mean, at the moment, when it's needed, people are getting money, they're getting food, they're not panic about paying bills. So that does infuriate me, Patty, that in America, it's like, I gave you $1,200, what are you complaining about? Really? Owing child support making over 65, no check. Oh, that's fine. I think that's fair. If you've got children, whether you're on either side of the receiving for child support, your child needs supporting, period. Well, I haven't heard that at all, Buttercup. And again, whether it's man-made or not, it's real. And whether you think that we could get through this just like the common flu, I don't know. But let's say the economy is still going to react to the virus. The figures out of the US are just blowing my mind. 50,000 or more a day. We have 7,000 cases for the whole country for the whole period. So that just really does blow my mind. The CERB program was extended, but they changed it. If your employer has revenue, you go up there. That's fair enough. If you're getting paid your old money. But the support structure was there, both in Canada and Australia. Lots of people are no longer on this support structure because they're back at work. So are you going to send me a link? Okay. The thing about man-made viruses, let's all be honest. Lots of these countries, and I could name a dozen of them, they all make nasty shit. Viruses, bacteria, chemical weapons. Yeah, this is real. Evening, Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Well, the difference between the flu, Buttercup, if you want to look into it, the fact is that, the figures that you see, let's just say Florida, you'll see 100,000 cases, say 10,000 dead, and 20,000 recovered. Where's the other 80,000 people? They're still recovering. And the research I've looked into, kidney, eye, liver, pancreas, circulation, breathing, lung collapses. In other words, there's a detrimental effect if you don't die in a lot of people due to the virus. Let's go back to the flu. Well, you get the flu, it's nasty. I've had it twice myself. Eventually you get over it within a couple of months and you're good to go. People looking now for lung transplants, trying to get some liver transplants. That doesn't happen with the flu. That's totally a different kettle of fish. It's not the flu. So I agree the flu is nasty and it does kill people. Let's be honest, the flu does kill people. But when it comes down to the effects of the flu on most people, when they get it, they feel crap for about 3 to 4 weeks and then they recover. I'm reading reports, those figures I just quoted you, 100,000 with the virus, 10,000 dead, and 20,000 recovered, 80,000 not recovered. It's like we've seen reports in Australia, people who have never had any conditions with their kidneys, lungs, heart, circulation. After they've had a mild case of the virus, they've now contracted these other ailments. So it's a nasty little virus that gets into every cell and does incredible damage. And it shouldn't be treated lightly by anyone. You know, if you stood in a line and said, we're going to give you the flu or the virus, you don't get a choice. It's going to be one of those tests. Is that okay? I'll be saying, no, thank you. Don't want to take it on board. Do you mind if I ask you, would you take the vaccine if one? No. Simple answer, Paddy. I've never believed that unless my body desperately needs any medication. My wife can back me up here. I don't take any painkillers unless I'm desperately in pain. I don't take any medication at all. And if I had to take something because it meant the detriment of being alive or dead, I would take it. But to answer your question, no, I wouldn't take the virus. But you can still do things to protect yourself. And it's not, I'm not asking all of you to go and dig a rabbit warren and put a lid down and open up in 10 years. But I am asking you to be careful. If it becomes mandatory, then what? Well, Australians have a different attitude than many people. We would say, shove it up your clacker. Wouldn't happen.
That's something you just have to wait and see.
Give you an idea. Let's say this is one of the things that's very important for people that will take the vaccine straight away. Is the vaccine the right one? Is there side effects to taking the vaccine? Does it, and this is the bit that a lot of people don't get. So if you get a vaccine for a virus, it's got to be repeated. It's not one of these, right, I've got the vaccine, I'm good to go. But you are good to go for 3 to 6 months. I don't think many of you have been told that, but that's how vaccines work. Unless it's a cumulative thing, like they've got vaccines that they've cured different diseases because they've eliminated them from society. That's how that worked. I'll give you the tip. If smallpox come back, if you've had the smallpox vaccination, as I did because I had to when I came from the UK to Australia, I have a very likely chance of contracting smallpox. It's not a lifetime thing. No, a vaccine is simply a, if you want to break it down, like a beta blocker. It stops what's going to happen with the virus now, but it's not a lifelong vaccine. There is no such thing, believe it or not. I think one of the things that you will all feel the effect of, and this is something which is obvious to me, lots of countries are shut down in production and manufacturing. You're going to see things that you normally bought on the shelf not available. And that's quite common. And you will see, like if there's an outbreak after it calms down a lot, toilet paper will disappear again. People go mad buying shopping because it's what they react to. Well, the flu, and I've given you the statistics in Western Australia, 11 to 1,400 people every April, that's when it's done, they check, 1,100 to 1,400 people every April get the flu. This year, because of social distancing, 20 people got it, which just staggers my mind. So instead of over 1,000, we just had 20. Why? It proves people stayed apart from each other, which also warded off the virus here. So there's a lot of things said to be getting people being more hygienic, washing their hands. I think you're going to see things imposed upon you, whether you wish to do it or not, like compulsory wearing of masks. If there is no vaccine found in the next 6 to 12 months, going to the supermarket means you'll probably be told you have to wear a mask, and lots of things can't reopen again, like cinemas and things like that. A mask doesn't give you any social distancing. It just protects other people from your expiration of spittle, air. So a mask is to protect other people. It's not necessarily there to protect you. Our shelves are all stocked up there, mate. But there will be lots of things. Like, I know Americans are probably annoyed that the UK has just made a list of 61 countries that can now travel to the UK. Now, this is not Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland, by the way. This is just England. In Wales, I have heard nothing about this being allowed at all. I'd be interested to see if Buttercup's got any info on that. But in England, they've opened up to 61 countries. Australia's one of them, but the US is not. The US is not on the list of allowable flights. And that includes Europe as well. To fix a fan at a restaurant. All right, money in the bag there, SV. Have a good day.
See you, SV.
Even the gun they point at your head to take it to. Buttercup, that's not a gun. It's a temperature gauge, it's a digital one.
Hey, Danny.
Now, you're telling me that those little guns with two AAA batteries emit radiation. Okay, I'll have to go back to the thermometer. Hello, Danny. Doing paperwork at work. Well, I hope your work is not getting inundated. And I hope you're safe, Danny. I mean, radiation comes off so many different devices in your own home. You realise all the wiring in your house, just the copper wiring alone. It's not a Faraday cage, but what it is a transmission of radiation. It's just natural. It radiates from the fact that your cage or your house full of wiring emits. That's how they do a stud finder for different cables as well, because it emits radiation. Not the radiation that burns you to a crisp and turns you into dust. But there's lots of things that emit your mobile phone, your television, your microwave. We could go on and on. They all emit a form of radio waves, some radiated. So tonight is the releasing of ARC Bully, but he's not shown.
Unless he's lurking.
I'm not sure.
Just got to send out.
Can't buy a rope off the store. No, we go to our hardware store and it's always chocolates full of everything.
You'll just have to send out telepathic energy
To
RC Bully.
Well, he doesn't have to come in. He's permitted to. But we all live our lives, got to move forward, do what we can. Just be careful, be safe, be smart. And don't think any government's going to help you, so wipe that off your mind. Government's never there to help you. Most airports are installing a coded temp gauge. You don't even see it. It radiates out to you You go, "Doo, doo, doo, doo." No, that one's good. Doo, doo. That one's hot. Quick, go and get him. I'm not kidding. They're all rolling it out.
What about someone who has a naturally high body temperature like you?
Well, yeah, radiated heat from the body doesn't mean a higher body temperature. Just emit more heat than
Yeah,
other
but you
people.
do.
I know, but I'm not any hotter than anyone else, as in core temperature. You want to wear a mask, and nowhere if it's mandatory. Well, I don't know about that. You've got to go to the shops. Well, I suppose you don't. You get stuff in. If there's something that can keep you or other people safe, I would wear it without a question. That's good. It's one less reliance on another country to provide those. Oh, the push here is enormous, VMAC, for Buy Australian. Actually, it's more than that. It's Buy Australian in Australia, and it's Buy Canadian, and it's Buy Greek, and it's Buy Japanese, and Buy South Korea, but not Buy.
That's not so much Japanese.
Chinese. You've adapted to wearing a mask. Yep, put it 24/7. Yep. If I had to, if I was still working in the prison service, I'd be wearing one every 12-hour shift. No problem at all. Safe from what? Well, safe from you transmitting it to someone else. For me, the purpose of a mask is to you help not transmit to others.
Then so basically
That's my theory. It's not to protect you, it's to protect others. There's several studies. There's one been done in Australia. There's been one done in England. I think one was done in Sweden and one done recently in the US. The US say that if people just simply wore masks for the next 3 months, 30,000 people extra wouldn't die. This is not me making it up. There are many other studies that have proven that you protect other people by wearing a mask. So if everyone wears a mask, you're pretty much covered. Of course, I truly believe the transmission of this virus is done with these. If you're sick, you don't need to wear a mask there. Oh, I just think that's stupid.
No, I think she's, oh, here, where she is.
I'm not saying chick's stupid. I'm saying that is stupid. If you're sick, you don't need to wear a mask. That's pretty dumb. These are my opinions. I think it's going to be fairly mandatory in many parts of the world that you will have to wear a mask if you want to go into a shopping centre or a bank or any sort of semi-crowded area. There will not be an asking going on. It'll be, well, if you're not wearing it, you can't come in. Pretty much sure that's happening in a lot of places now. I would have to, on any given occasion, of course, most people would know, HIV's not gone anywhere either. There's another virus, no vaccine for that. But we would have at any given time out of 500 prisoners, 25 HIV prisoners. And the procedure for working in that area, you definitely masked up. You had shields sometimes. It wasn't a case of you were asked, that's what you had to wear. And I happily wore it. Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue with the Buttercup, but whether you have it or not, if everyone wore a mask, you don't have to wear a bloody mask, okay? I'm not telling you that. But if everyone wore a mask, you would minimize transmission. It's that simple. In the prison system, we walk for simple protection of us with the face shield, the mask, gloves. I don't know how many pairs of gloves. Working in security with 5 or 6 HIV prisoners, probably 50 pairs of glove a day. Easy. Well, one of the biggest things that you're hearing, and they're becoming quite well known, is that without even knowing it, people are asymptomatic and they are super spreaders. They have the ability to spread the virus rapidly amongst many people, and they don't have any symptoms at all. They do a genome test. If Danny's there, she'll know what I'm talking about. The study's now going to genome testing of the virus. In other words, where's all these, because the little genes are attached to a virus if someone spreads it to someone else. So they can work it back to the person. When they find a genetic link, they become a super spreader. I totally disagree with you. The mask is not a joke for me. And like I say, it doesn't protect me, it protects other people. If I'm asymptomatic, I don't know I even have the bloody thing, and I don't wear a mask, there's a good chance that I'll give it to other people. No, they've done genome testing, chick. They know that certain people throughout the world have gone to a certain area and they've spread to 40 or 50 people. And how they trace it back is the virus that's given to them. It's given to them by that super spreader with a small genetic link. So the genome testing finds out who the person is, and then they isolate that person who may not even have any symptoms. Actually, I need a super spreader for some weed and feed shortly.
Oh, you can't believe the weeds in the grass, eh?
Like again, I'm not going to argue with Buttercup, but it simply boils down doing something is better than not doing anything at all. That's my opinion. If you work with me within the prison system in the HIV unit, you'll be wearing a mask, you'll be wearing a face shield, you'll be wearing gloves, you'll be fully clothed, you might even have a hazmat suit on, and you'd wear it happily.
Well, like supermarkets have got shields now, which they never had.
I did see a video recently about what you just said there, about 2 to 6 metres. People going even to outdoor restaurants in Germany, they're trying to find out where the wind's blowing. And they'll sit on the wind side of a corner of an outdoor restaurant so the wind comes from them and goes to other people. So that's just smart thinking, if you think about it. Oh, look, the common sneeze. Someone did a study once, you can go up to about 30 feet. But like I say, doing nothing to a situation usually means that you're more vulnerable, or you're making other people more vulnerable. The fact of the matter, this virus is real. It does untold damage to people, even young, healthy people are in terrible situations, recovering. Like I say, look at those figures next time. 1 million dead, 10 million recovering. There's a gap. And those people are not recovered.
You don't have to apologise. It's just your opinion. No apology necessary.
I'm happy to voice your and my opinion. It just boils down to, I think, a lot of people, if do nothing, and that's what we've seen happen in some events around the world, when they've done nothing and think it's all back to normal, lo and behold. Is it Leicester? Or is it Leicester City? I don't know. I did read something quickly. They've locked it down. They're doing exactly the same in Victoria, locking everything down.
There's 50-something suburbs locked down in Victoria. Is it 50?
Well, it's 3.5, about 350,000 people.
So it's more than 50 suburbs then.
I don't know. What I do know is that they move very swiftly. Buttercup says they don't go anywhere where they force a mask. So if you're having like foot surgery and you're lying on the bed and all these surgeons come up to you with their masks and say, take them off right now. There's certain shops around the world that you would not be allowed in at all. In fact, a lot of doctors' surgeries, when you first go in, they still are being very careful. They'll say to you, please take a mask and please take a seat. Or if you wish, you go outside into your car and I will call you on your mobile when your appointment's due. Even now, this stream gets a thumbs up. I thought you were going to mention something about the game, but I'm not going to say anything, JP. We won't mention that.
Which game?
No, I can't mention it.
Our daughter's happy with the game the other day.
Mm. Not mentioning a word. 0.
Collingwood and Essendon.
No. JP's team and mine, we sort of met and things didn't go well.
Oh.
I think where JP lives, they've pretty got much of it under control. Queensland's still not opening their borders yet. And if you're from Victoria, you're not allowed in Queensland. But mind you, no one's allowed in WA. So still no return of the bully, but that's okay. The penitentiary doors have been left open. Not sure whether he's willing to step outside into the sunlight. Yeah, but I've always said you've got to make the best of what you've got and go forward with little steps as much as you can. The governments are never going to be there to help you. You've got to be realistic. You should learn to be on your own 2 feet and do the best you can. Yeah, it's the same. I think we had 9 deaths in WA, JP. 8 were all off aircraft or cruise ships. And 1 was a really elderly lady, sadly. But no big nursing home breakouts, nothing like that. We have 0 now. Isn't it funny? Do you remember JP when it first sparked up? And Christmas Island is off the coast of Western Australia. It's 1,000 miles off the coast. But the first crew they flew back from China, they took to Christmas Island and they had to stay there 2 weeks and then proved negative in a test before they were allowed on the mainland of Australia. That only happened once. Oh, I don't, like I say, I've met 2 of our prime ministers better be able when I told the other one was a dickhead. I never got arrested. It's totally different politics here. We judge the character of the person running whatever a state or federal position based on the performance. And even if you vote for them and they don't do the right thing, we want them kicked out. That's how it works in Australia. Yeah. It was first used for boat people trying to get into Australia, JP.
Yeah.
But then was turned over to people that were coming back from China. And there's 250 or 500 all up went there and all tested negative and they all came home. But they then started letting the boats come in and they started letting people come on planes. I couldn't work it out.
And then they used, what's the name here, in the early time, Rottnest. Some people can't even afford to go to that place.
No, that's right. They use Rottnest Island as a quarantine second. It costs you $400 or $500 a night to go and stay in Rottnest.
That's where all the what's the names are.
Buttercup says, I'm truly concerned that I might not visit you guys.
Oh,
no,
you will. Stop.
You don't have to wear a mask here, Buttercup. You're good to go.
Be positive, Butty. Be positive. All right, Danny.
Yeah. There's love. The Prime Minister went down to one of the bushfire areas and, geez, the people ripped into him like you wouldn't imagine. You're a total knobhead. Fuck off. That's how we speak to a Prime Minister. Mind you, that's how we speak to each other if we don't agree that you're doing the right thing. No, you're thinking of Kangaroo Island, chick.
Yes, VMAC, that did happen because he just reseeded his lawn.
He said the Prime Minister, any chance getting your bullheads off my lawn? I've just reseeded the bastard. Imagine someone saying that to Trump.
Yeah, quokka.
First quarantine place was Christmas Island, off the coast of my state of Western Australia, but 1,000 miles out in the ocean. but it's getting there. Can see issues.
I
Yeah.
know that's what she's talking about.
I don't think anyone's going to be allowed in here at all until the middle of next year, and that is a optimistic view, because we, without doubt, if something sparked up again, would lock down like we're doing in Victoria right now, and we would just say, okay, we don't want it to get out of hand. So we lock down 350,000 people, cannot move out of their suburbs, 1,000 police checkpoints. I'm not kidding you. And that's only because there was a spike of 50 a day in that area. 50.
And the only reason why there's armies being sent to places is to help test.
Yeah.
Not to.
Did you hear about those two bullheads from Victoria that went to South Australia, JP? $8,000 fine each.
Yeah, they said they were not going to muck around the second time round.
8,000. Well, the world will be fine. That's how people will be interesting. Yeah, I told you, I read the articles regarding Quebec and British Columbia. There was 2 surveys done. Quebec said 22% would let Americans in. British Columbia said 5%. So it's not happening. I've done a fair bit of research over the last few months in regards to lengths of pandemic, second wave, third waves. The truth is, usually about 18 months after the initial impact, there is a drop-off, a natural drop-off, and most virologists and epidemiologists state that most viruses weaken. One main reason, that is that the virus wants to keep surviving. If a virus goes to host and it dies, well, that's the end of the virus. So we may have an extension of this virus for many, many years, but not in such a lethal form. Oh, not one, Buttercup. There are, last count, 15 people working in different areas and avenues of different departments and government positions. They're all being sussed out. One of the main reasons, you may not have seen it, I can't give you a link, but it was on a show called Four Corners. A person from China who used to work for Chinese infiltration in Australia asked for political asylum in Australia and then opened up his books. So that's why they're being checked out.
Oh, you're a bit late, Tony.
Tony, do you realise you are the cleanest YouTuber in the world?
Don't forget the ears. Wash and dry them properly. It's
I did say many months ago that the backlash to China will become political at first, and they're waving big sticks all over the world. You know, need look no further than Chinese border with India and what they're doing there. South China Sea, infiltration in different areas. Let's be honest, we just had a big, massive hit last week, hacking into Australian businesses and government departments. They're not saying it, but the people that work in the situation are saying it, Chinese. So there is an anti-Chinese sentiment, not based on racism against Chinese people, but on the regime running the country. That's where a lot of people don't distinguish between the two. We've got over 7% of Australians of Chinese descent. They're okay, no problem. But we don't have easy solutions. What will happen is, and it's a good thing in the end, is that a lot of countries like Australia and Canada and the US, Britain, you name them, that gets disassociated with China will suffer economically at first, but then they'll start manufacturing like they used to. And that's a good thing in the end. I'll be honest, and I'm very biased. I feel very privileged to live in Australia, where I can go up to the Prime Minister and call him a dickhead, or I can have a beer with him if I choose to. They're very approachable. They don't like getting called a dickhead, but when it's required, you do so. No one gets arrested. There's no Secret Service swooping in my home. And like I say, when the country fell on its knees because of the virus and businesses closed, the government and the people stood up and they got paid.
I played the Bully Rockstar game.
Bully Rockstar games. No, Bully's been released from detention. YouTube detention. Well, specifically my channel. He has an opportunity to come back a fresh, revitalised man. This is war. Who's the enemy, Buttercup? Who is the enemy we need to be aware of? No, Babu is not the enemy.
No, I'm saying hello to them.
Oh, okay. Just that you had Secret Service agent sunglasses on.
Yeah. I was saying hello to them, not saying that they're it.
That's not very silent, chick. Far from silent. The folks behind the governments. Well, people that own the planet, you mean? Yeah, I agree. There are people that own the planet, have done for thousands of years, and they don't want to let go. Simple. No, it's the same here. What do you mean? We had one Prime Minister called Bob Hawke, and he could take a bit of abuse, but he had one guy heckle him like you wouldn't believe one day. And it was the bodyguards that grabbed the Prime Minister because he was going to punch this bloke. Seriously. Come here, you mongrel, he said. I'll knock your teeth out. And that's the Prime Minister of Australia.
What about when the Prime Minister is talking and they does the sign language? Oh, I don't know when this happened, not recently. And then somebody in the background swore or carried on and yelled out, and the
oh no, that was the WA Premier.
Yeah, that's right. And the
Bethune came past.
And the sign language.
And the sign language guys.
Dickhead. The lady did the swearing, the F word, dickhead.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So 2030 is the end of the planet as we know it. Soylent Green. Buttercup in a detention centre in the middle of Wales in the coal pit. Luckily, the TARDIS sound is heard. Quick, get on board, Buttercup. I'll take you to Australia. I don't think I'll make 2030, but I'll take it if it comes.
Wait, what do you mean you won't make 2030?
You just never know. Could get hit by a meteor. Remember on YouTube every day there's a comet coming.
Oh.
Or a meteor going to crash us.
I better get the life insurance on you then.
Yeah. I've never seen such a obvious display of egotism and self-interest than President Trump has presented. And yet people still say he's the man. I just shake my head and think, unbelievable. Like I say, he's at Mount Rushmore today with a chisel and a hammer. I'm just carving an image of myself. Yeah, that's the one way to look at it, B-Mac. The thing that I know in my country, and probably very similar in Canada, you stuff up as a politician, you pay a severe price. There is no waving a hand saying, go away. It doesn't work that way in Australia. I think the truth is 99% of the people on the planet want the same thing. And even though each of us up and down have different things that we probably wish we didn't have, generally we look after each other. 1%, yeah, they just want to rule, beat, submit people to their will. But 99% of the people would pick you up if you fell down. I think Mount Rushmore would be a beautiful place to go and see. Probably not now, though. But I never let myself get to the stage where I think everyone's out to get me. Everything's an attacking process on me. I just couldn't live my life like that.
Whose turn is it for coffee?
Sturgis, nice. Reference to what, JP? I think you might have typed in the wrong room. Maybe one of his girls. You just said, call me Sturgis. Yeah, amazing. A lot of old Western movies are made in South Dakota. I know John Wayne liked it. But like I say, I don't believe this is going anywhere fast.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, I have heard of that. That motorcycle rally.
I get you. Yeah.
Show we watched.
Yeah, what's name was on it? You know, the crew that do the American Pickers.
American Pickers,
Little chubby guy went there to Sturgis motorcycle rally. Apparently it's a big event. I think it started about, I don't know, a long time ago.
Well, he's
90
been going,
years or something.
Yeah, because he's been going 30 years. That guy that we watched.
Well, we were looking forward, I'll be honest, to going to the United States to see family. We've got family there as well, and friends, and have a good trip, but it's not happening. I think our first destination will be probably land in Sydney and see a few family, and then shoot off to New Zealand for a few weeks.
Yes, I love that show too.
And I should take my hat and my staff.
To where?
New Zealand.
Oh yeah, I'll take a picture of you down at the, what's the name?
A little hobbit village. So yes, we'll go to Middle Earth. We'll take Buttercup with us. We won't make her wear a mask. I'll just put her in my rucksack. Just put the lapels over so she can just every now and then breathe. We'll go to the little people's houses, bend inside and say, is it safe to come in here?
You'd have to bend down, we don't.
Yeah, sure. You probably wouldn't. I will.
Oh, Tasmania, we lived there for 12 months.
Yeah, we lived there. It's beautiful. You'd love it.
Just remember, if you go to Tasmania.
Welcome back, spick and span.
Oh, welcome back, Tony. Give you a star. If you go to Tasmania, be aware that they all must be psychic and think that you're psychic.
They don't indicate.
No, they just don't like to use that indicator on the car.
Happy Treason Day to all those ungrateful colonials. Sounds like you're a redcoat, Leroy. Stick your bayonet down, son. No one should be harmed here.
Tasmania is beautiful.
It is very beautiful. That's right. You only have to go to family barbecue. Actually, reason, JP, that Tasmania exists, it's quite fundamentally proven, is that South Australians can swim.
Oh, JP.
Every time we've gone through South Australia, we go through like, quick, take one, stick on the cloak, they won't see us.
No, they do. They all think that you're psychic in Tasmania, even the police. Oh, yeah, we know you're going to turn right at the roundabout. We knew that.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you, and it's irrelevant because you will never see it, and we've got rid of it, but we met people that did the filming of the massacre in Tasmania, which was terrible, particularly at the Broad Arrow Cafe. And what we saw was forensic evidence, and we just got rid of it. I didn't want it to fall in anyone's hands. It was horrendous. But that's Australia's only mass shooting that I can recall. There's only one state really in Australia that was never colonised and utilised with prisoners. Was South Australia.
I thought they had convicts.
Well, nowhere near this. I think they had convict crews that built like bridges and things like that. But we had whole colonies built around the rest of Australia with convicts. In fact, someone once said that out of the Australians, there was probably 30% that had descendants that were convicts. No, he's definitely his parole officer maybe has given him advice there, Mac. I'm not sure.
I mean, let's face it, Tasmania.
Yes, good honey in Tasmania. Yeah. Really good.
Yes.
Beautiful wilderness too. Very cold in certain spots. We drove from Hobart. We drove through up to Devonport to get on the ferry, and we went through a place called, and you wouldn't even know how to spell this, Luana, and it was minus 13 degrees. Now, VMAC was saying, yeah, so what? But it was winter and there was no leaves on the trees. But they're all about an inch of ice around. It looked like this. We're driving at dusk and dawn, and it was like these scary fingers. You hate honey?
Yes, she said that before.
Oh my God. Well, I'm pretty sure that Buttercup, if he did come in the room and misbehaved, that you would provide him with a lifetime vaccine, that he doesn't get a choice. Well, either you or VMAC. The speed of such would be mind-blowing.
I love honey. Yeah, so yeah, I know, I was just saying that, Leroy.
Everyone's entitled to a bad day, and sometimes misappropriation of words, yes, but not on a consistent basis. That forms abuse. Difference of opinion is far different than a direct attack on someone. That's me, Judge Seeds. Everyone's entitled to discretion and indiscretions on occasions.
You get an email from him.
I did get an email from him, by the way.
About a week ago?
No, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But you won't reveal his name because it was there.
Yeah, I wonder if he even realised he did that.
Well, I don't do that. It doesn't happen.
No, I don't get that, but I'm talking about him. I wonder if he realised he even...
Don't know. Yes, it's one of those incredible products, honey. It's also an antiseptic. That's right. You can literally put a glass full of honey down, bury it. 1,000 years later, JP could open it because he lived that long, and it'd be good to go.
Yes, JP was a friendly email. That's what you're talking about.
Yep, it was just sort of, let me back. I'll behave type thing. Well, he was given the 1st of July, and I must admit I did just ponder it and think, no, we'll make it the 4th. Being an American, I thought would give his independence. Honey is brilliant. It's one of the best honeys I think I've ever tasted was crystallized honey. What do they call it?
I can't remember.
It was just, honey will crystallize. There's not much you can't use honey for. Yeah, we like maple syrup, but not in great. It's quite strong maple syrup. The good stuff from Canada we got was anyway. But it's something that I would put on a few things. I wouldn't use it in cooking. Mainly desserts.
Oh, the one that was sent to us from Dive.
Network 126. I don't even know what that is, Leroy.
that was nice, strong maple syrup, actually. It was just a small jar, but wow, it was strong.
Oh, Manuka honey's nice, but it's just overpriced like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of it.
I think a
Leroy.
kilo is well over $200. That's how expensive it is.
Actually, I have to agree with you, Bucky, that Manuka honey, my mum used to love it, and it helped her with a lot of things. Because I had my teaspoon of honey every day, plus in my tea, but I just can't get the taste of that honey either. It is different.
It was honey down Margaret Ruber that we had, that the guy said it came from the forest inland from someone, and it was beautiful. It's very expensive, Manuka honey. It's not worth the money it is.
Yes. I've never heard of this
VMAX,
leatherwood
if there are
either.
any VMAX left over there, VMAX pulls out a file, VMAX 107.6, you're on duty.
Leatherwood honey. I have to look for that. I don't think we have that here.
No.
So another expensive honey.
I think on one occasion I spoke to Leroy. He's quite an intelligent man. There's no doubt about that. We all have opinions, and we don't. Or the thing is, people don't get it. You don't have to agree with someone. You've got to find a level where you don't turn your disagreement into abuse, because what it boils down to is they're just opinions. They're not facts. They're just viewpoints, perspective.
Who is this Network 126? Don't know. See, I've never heard of leatherwood trees either.
We, fortunately, have quite a few bees that visit us,
Let me check
which
if I
the
can
wife
get.
panics on from time to time. But
they're fine if they don't land on me, because I'm just going to go check out if we have leatherwood honey in Australia.
I should do a video, because yesterday morning the wife pointed out to me, do you remember that little garden I started out the front last spring? Well, in the very corner that got very little light was a cherry tomato. Believe it or not, it's thriving in the middle of winter.
Okay, so Tasmania does leatherwood honey.
I think Leatherwood's a brand.
Let me just see.
Jono retracted his name, address, phone number. Oh, one of the big companies from overseas got busted supplying Australia with basically sugared water honey, whatever it was.
Oh, well, we do have it. I'm going to have to look for it. Never seen it here. Whoa, $14 for 500 grams.
Of what?
Leatherwood honey.
Insane. Well, yours is for $3.75 is like $9.
No, I buy a kilo, and it's $11, I suppose. Yeah, I buy a kilo. It's $11 Australian honey.
The one thing in the US that will be guaranteed is that it will be a very fiery reaction to the voting. Either way, I don't see the hard right giving up that easily.
All right, VMAX. Still don't know who they are, but yep, Lazy Steve Beggar. Let's say no more.
I make it easy for myself. I don't go to anyone's channel where there's a dollar sign or reference to, dropping a tip or a link to Amazon or Patreon. I don't go to any of those channels. So I don't go very many places at all. Which is sad, because some of the people that have been convinced that they should put a dollar sign up on their channel probably regret it a lot of times.
$11, yeah. No, it depends on what honey I buy. The one I usually buy is $11 a kilo, and there is another one. I suppose I've paid a bit for honey.
honey can go up and down like a yo-yo depending on supply. But we're very parochial in this, we only eat Australian honey. Amazon's just got enormous, let's be honest, it's just become mega. You'd be able to get everything through Amazon. I think honey in general, pure honey,
Well, if I find
is medicinally good for you anyway.
Yeah, if I find a small one, I'll try it, just in case I don't like it. I was just glad I never actually bought the Manuka. I've tasted Mum's and I just never liked it. Oh, that's nice butty, straight from the hive.
Here we go. Chick says Amazon is here to destroy the middleman. Well, just about everything you can imagine over the last 50 years has gone down that path, Chick. Remember, you used to go to the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, all had their own shops.
And the cobbler.
No, you get, the cobbler as well.
Go to the cobbler.
Yeah, but the middleman's gone. Little corner shops, they're gone. Yes, there's lots of people with incredible wealth. Why? Because people buy shit through them. It's like I was reading an article, we got a company called Kogan, Kogan, in Australia. Probably 90% of their products come from China. Well, there's a bit of a backlash at the moment. I've tried caviar, I don't really like it. It's salty.
Don't say that, Chick, because I don't like caviar. Obviously, it's not going to taste like caviar.
But what we will do in the future, all of the people in the room will donate, I don't know, 3 or 4 million each. We'll buy our own country, our own island, where the land will flow milk and honey. There'll be no internet. They've all decided not to come now. No internet. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not coming.
You'll till the field for food, grain, and harvest, and live in mud huts with just solar panels for light. We'll grow our own forests for food and wood.
I don't know. How does eBay work?
eBay is a selling platform.
Yeah, I know. Or you buy off eBay, or you can be a seller. What do they charge you for selling on eBay?
It's up to about total 13%, all up with fees.
Because
it's not worth selling small priced items on eBay.
Chick was saying, where is it? If you sell on Amazon, you pay them 30%.
Chuck your details and track, and I shall direct it to you. Be careful.
Yeah, see, none of them are going to come without internet, so we just said it.
Well, you can just tell stories every night, mate. You don't need the internet for that.
Yes, we can get it, JP. I was having a look. I found one. What did
30+%. Whoa. You could have also just start your own website and sell your own products. Simply buy and sell. That's not too bad. 1.5 kilos for $30.
What shop's that at?
$18 US.
Yeah, what shop's that at, JP? Okay, V-Mac, you can be the fisher.
I'll go to sea and fish. Yes, our island will be surrounded by reefs of magnificent fish. Elon Musk will have worldwide high-speed internet in a couple of years. He will. He's pumping up them satellites, isn't he, Leroy? I like using honey in when I cook Chinese or Thai. Well, there are 16 ounces to a pound, and there are 2.2 pound per kilo chick. There you go. So that's around about 3 and a bit pound of honey, maybe 4 pound. What's more G? I don't know what that means. All right, Tony, at least you're clean. You should hit the sheets, the Saturn ones, with the air conditioner and reversed air cycling, because you can have the heat because you have free power, unlike some people.
Okay, see you, Tony. Don't get hung up on TR too long.
Yep, about 3.5 pounds, as I said. There you go. JP says 52.9 ounces. Elon Mush. I gather you don't like Elon Buttercup. Speaking in tongues, what is the 5 to reach those hard-to-reach bodily parts? I think I'm a bit confused. What do you think, JP, about all these exodus of Melbourne teams not playing in Melbourne at all for the rest of the season? That's interesting. Put a lot of stress and strain on families, I guess. Elon Musk is a twat. Well, you know how useful they can be on occasions, Buttercup? I believe in the future, Buttercup, you'll have the possibility to choose to have a chip implanted in your brain where you're permanently connected to the internet to the extent you won't need a screen. Using the abilities of your mind, you can do anything on the internet through your own brain.
What?
That will come.
So we'll have Google implanted in our brain, will we? So who will be working? Will our brain be controlling Google, or will Google control our brain?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Carl. Will there become a day that the world has free energy? No, never. Even if it exists, free doesn't make anyone any money at all.
So, Jono, that's for leatherwood honey.
We used to get, I'm not kidding you, we used to get our honey in 10-kilogram buckets.
See you, VMAC.
Goodbye, VMAC. Time for me to be productive on a Saturday. What are you doing?
Just catch up on some work. So the other day.
So I'll be going to the beach, minus 32 degrees. There was an article written by an anthropologist last week who stated the current 2020 world is very similar to the world in 1020. I thought, what's he going on about? 1,000 years ago. What's he on about? Well, no one travelled to other countries literally in 1020. You lived in your own area. The confines of the ability to grow, harvest, catch, kill, He said the difference today is that we have supermarkets. But I get what he was meaning. The world anthropology has changed back 1,000 years. You can't go anywhere. Can't do anything. Well, we can, but a lot of people can't.
£5. Is that all you go through? Geez, how much honey do I go through?
Oh, lots. But we used to buy honey in 10 kilogram or 22.5 pound buckets. It was cheap, wasn't it? $60 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we'd go through in pounds, £10 of honey a month, easy. Cooking in cups of tea.
Eating. £10 a year. Jeez, I go through that.
There'll be a couple of months' supply there for you.
Okay. I just saw that Woolies sell the leather wood honey.
Yeah, have a good day, VMAC. Should go and get some more stone tomorrow after a coat of paint down the front. Probably need another 3 or 4 bags just to go and top up too.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very traumatic for you, JP. I remember the stories you told. Something about if you can't beat them, you join them.
I retract it.
Actually, JP is a woman, by the way. I wasn't going to tell everyone, but still, there comes a time in every man's life.
Don't be mean. Some of these workers that are listening are going to go and spread that rumour now.
Yes.
When they spread the rumour that he was a pole dancer.
Yeah, I spread that rumour.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, JP.
And your wife lays you on the floor and gets a piece of cheese and says, "Come on, you little bugger. Come on. Come on. Wait, wait, wait." This bloke's good bloke. I like him. He likes us. Come here, JP. I'll make a man out of you.
I know.
Yes, JP's story is very traumatic. He thought he was going to an island of lesbians, and he rejoiced in the fact. And there was kissing and hugging going on. And then he realised they were all transgender lesbians. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, the falafel should have been a big giveaway.
Yeah, it's another thing.
Shawarma, falafel.
That's something I don't like, is falafel thingies, whatever they are. We
Yeah,
tried them
really,
once. They're horrible for me. They're horrible. And it's got a weird herb or something in it.
it's got all sorts of things in falafel, but it's like I'm not big on hummus. It's like
I like hummus.
it's got bland taste.
You've got to put things with it, but I do like
Well, if you've got to put things with something to make it taste good, you might as well not have the thing that doesn't taste any good.
the whole of the hummus dip I bought today went.
There's been quite an advancement in medication for people with Parkinson's that stops a lot of the tremors, but doesn't stop the progression. Oh, there's a natural crystallization of honey over time. They found urns of honey in tombs over 2,000 years old.
Yeah, I just don't like
Yeah,
it.
kibble might have been a better food. There is some very nice Arab food, don't get us wrong, but man, they do like the greasy stuff. I have to stop getting about 5 o'clock painting.
Yes. It's oily and got a weird taste.
So what?
Like,
There's lots of oil in Arab food. I don't know why. Salt's essential. People tell you not to eat salt. Smack them in the mouth. It's part of our essentials. Lots of salt in processed food is not good.
you're going to have the right salt, man.
Oh, I'm sure, like I said, there was a big outrage when a company that was importing honey into Australia was basically just sugar water mixed with a bit of honey. They got their ass busted big time. But they have dug up honey from all sorts of areas, and it does crystallise over hundreds of years, but melts back down to honey, so it doesn't go bad. And I think in the future, in 2,000 years' time, someone will dig up a McDonald's burger.
Yeah.
And it'll be like it's brand new. People eat that shit. Time to go, JP says. Good night, goodbye.
See ya.
Send you a mem just before you go to bed. You can open it up, JP. Just as you're dozing off to sleep, you'll open it up and you'll hear this. We're the Eagles, West Coast Eagles. And we're flying high. We're the big birds. Yes, it was very sad, actually. You sleep well, my Lebanese friend. Oh, look, this is what Sydney scored. Another point. No, it was not a very good game, actually. But that's a weird year of footy, let's be honest. Yeah, no, I don't like. If I'm going to buy, it's like we don't use margarine. We always use butter. We don't buy milk. That's like low percentage of cream. We buy full milk. For thousands of years, we've been eating the real stuff. When margarine first came out, I'm thinking this doesn't look right. I tasted it and thought, nah. Give me butter any day. There are some good things, Patty. I know people that have carpal tunnel or just arthritis. They'll get these big things and they wrap around the jar a couple of times, and there's a lever and they very easily open jars like that. So yeah, just a simple task that we take for granted just can't be done by some people. You can't beat butter, particularly on a nice crumpet first thing in the morning, melting away in them little holes. Nice coffee, maybe a bit of honey on top. It's funny, Buttercup. Oh, tomorrow, if we wanted to, which we wouldn't at the moment, we could fly to Wales. Well, not Wales. We could fly to probably Heathrow, then drive to Wales. but no one in the UK can come here. $6 for half a gallon. That seems fair enough. Sounds like good milk. And I make butter out of cream. Got a few videos where on occasions the supermarket will have overstocked with cream, and they like sell normally $5 big bottles of cream for 10 cents just to get rid of them. So I grab a lot, take it home and make butter out of it. It's very simple. It's very cheap because butter's very expensive. What does it work out now? 250 gram is about 250.
No, 290 is the one anywhere from 290 to $3.50. It depends on the brand.
Yeah, so a kilo would be something like $12. Whereas if I get the cream, I can make a kilo for about 60 cents. We don't normally have salt in our butter, but if I make a lot of butter out of cream, I put a little bit of salt in it because I've made so much of it. No, it's one of those phenomena that they don't probably actually realise, Leroy. I'm sure business people would realise, not being able to travel back and forth. Probably one of the biggest things that happened this week is that because of the Chinese change of rule. No, we keep it in the fridge. It's Australia, Patty. Think for one moment. 120 degrees.
Oh, in summer, but in winter, I don't care.
In winter, we keep it out.
Yeah.
And it's still pretty soft. Winters are hard. One of the biggest issues this week was China's change of law, basically taking it from being a two constitutional system to one, just Chinese rule. And Australia is willing to take, I think, 30,000 Hong Kong people if they want to come. I know Britain's opened the doors. America's done the same. And the Chinese are pissed off, big time. There is no wall, Buttercup. You know, they just fixed up an old part of one, and they're building a little bit of the new one. I believe if the going rate is, Trump will need to be in president for the next 60 years before the wall is completed. It's a phenomenon that will actually start taking effect, Leroy, when things like next year in Japan, all going well, the Olympics will take place. They're still calling it the 2020 Olympics in Japan. But if the current status remains in the United States, they won't be permitted to go to Japan. And that may start to hit home pretty quick because the Olympic Committee will be looking at this. I think it's July. I think June or July next year, they're having the Olympics in Japan, still calling it the 2020 Olympics. But they do a forecast in regards to this virus. And unless something's changed rapidly in the US, they'll be notified probably around about Christmas saying, you're not coming. It's getting cool here now.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, it's dropped down to a chilly 15 degrees Celsius. It's not cool enough yet to stick my dressing gown out, but it's pretty damn close. It's one of those things. It was a quiz done on television by a guy called Stephen Fry, an Englishman, very funny. And he said, tonight's prize is a cow, milking cow with a calf. And we will deliver it to you. And the only reason I'm asking this is, would you actually utilize the cow, get fresh milk, make cheese and things? And everyone said, nah, I'll just buy it from the supermarket. Imagine if you were giving a full
Oh,
milking
what's that
cow.
on the wall?
I don't know.
Is that a spider?
I don't know. I think it could be a cricket. You're going to have to get closer. Be brave.
Oh, my legs. No, I tried.
Spider.
Oh, my God.
What is it?
It's a cricket. He's
Told you.
huge.
Yeah.
We haven't
No,
had
he's
one that
moving now.
big in ages.
Crickets are good. They eat other bugs. Get the flamethrower, Leroy says.
If it was a spider, I would burn the house down, Leroy, but it's a cricket. I don't mind crickets. Actually, I don't mind spiders if they stay away from me. Yeah, we like Stephen Fry.
I think I first saw him with the show Fry and Laurie. Of course, the guy Laurie is out of the Blockbuster TV show.
He's very, very intelligent, knowledgeable man. He does some good documentaries too. A big beastie. No, he's gone around the corner now.
It's probably about an inch and a half long.
It's a big cricket to what we usually get.
There's no spiders there or bugs. Buttercup. That was a plastic cricket, all right. Don't panic. My ponytail's pissing me off sitting on this chair. I have to let my hair all hang out. Hello. I'm a tall white alien. I've come here to save you. Yes. Believe me. I'm just extending my antennae now. That'll scare a few more. Yes, he talked often about how he thought of suicide many times, Buttercup.
Yeah.
But at least he talked about it. 90 degrees in Kentucky. That's the thing about your part of the world, Barry. It's not the heat, the bloody humidity. If it's Australian, that cricket can probably kill you from 30 feet in 9 languages. No, I am not God.
You're going to bless the room.
I've been watching you people for a number of eons. Some of you have not made the grade. We've already had the rapture, so all of you here, you know what that means. You've been unraptured. I was painting up on the rafters today, and I swear hit my back of the head on a beam that I'd painted, and I'm thinking I'm going to end up with this blonde streak. But the wife assures me there was no sign of paint. Here's a good question. And I hope most of you say where I am would be the idyllic answer. If you had a choice to live anywhere on the planet, anywhere at all, where would it be? To the best of your knowledge of other places, of course, or where you are. Where would you choose to live? Untangling the tangly bits. Buttercup says, next door to you. It's very sweet of you, Buttercup.
Yep.
If money is relevant to the happiness of your life, check by all means. But money is only a transfer object. It has no tangible touch or feel in reality. We know JP would live on an island of Lebanese transgenders, but still that's his choice. Some places, no money, forget about it. No, you can have money if you like. The relevance is where would you, if given an opportunity to do so, live. Sometimes the old saying, the grass is greener, is true, and sometimes it's not. Many a story of people moving to different countries, or even different parts of their own country, only to find that they didn't like it as much as where they lived before. It's familiarity too, like if you're used to something and that disappears and you get something new, it's unnerving for many people. It won't matter in a few, we'll all be IA with a chip in our body. There's not really much to look forward to then, is it, Buttercup, really? We don't really know our destination, I guess, until we find it. I've been a few places, and I think I can't find anywhere better than where we live now. The country itself, you could live anywhere. Australia is very familiar. You move from one part of Australia to another, not much changes. Most people are the same. You only got to go a few hundred feet in some parts of Europe and things are totally different. I'm bordered with different countries and speak different languages. You wish you had a 12-foot fence around you. Bloody hell, I wouldn't be living there then. I used to work in a place that had a 30-foot fence. I think one of the things I notice in other countries, and because for us, it's the people that make the trip interesting, is that some countries people walk around like they're not depressed, but they're just going through the motions and they're not really happy. And they can happen anywhere, of course, doesn't mean wouldn't happen in Australia for some people. But we don't feel oppressed here. We don't feel under the thumb. We speak our mind, and politicians are just people that work for us. That's our mentality in Australia. We don't have this where we put them on a pedestal. No, they got elected, but they now have to perform. They work for us. That's our thought process. Still in Connecticut, but further north, where it's even colder. Yep, I think we're going to shut it down. I just had order from the executive office.
No.
She's clearing the area as we speak for a photo opportunity with the cricket.
Yeah, send it. Big picture to Watty.
I think probably more than anything, this is one of the feelings we get when we're coming home, is that we're not worried about going to other countries, don't get us wrong, but we look forward to going home to our country.
See you, Paddy.
Paddy says, I'll get my day right. I hope everyone has a good evening and morning. Thanks for being here. You're most welcome, Paddy. Where I had quite a few lovely emails from Paddy in regards to a story. I won't reveal what it was, but it was a wonderful story of someone's life. You have much time as you like, chick. All right, from the wonderful world of Oz. Stay tuned for the update in following days.
You'll have to blow kisses.
No, I can turn the camera around. It's easy. Well, not as easy as I thought, but I can still do it. There we go.
No.
Tell them a good night story.
Once upon a time, there was this big cricket, this huge cricket.
Who was wearing a mask, which was very strange.
He's gone. I don't know where he's gone, behind there somewhere. Not that you can see what I'm pointing to, but back there. Ready to pounce. Okay, see,
No, you get 10 minutes on camera now.
No, not 10 minutes.
It's requested, but I'll ask the people.
Oh,
Do you want
did you hear
Mystic?
that?
Do you want Mystic
Did you?
Angels to stay on camera for 10 minutes to talk to you? You can say no if you like.
Say no. I'm going to go play Yahtzee. It's all gone quiet now anyway, see.
You're all just in awe of your image.
Oh,
Well, tell them a story.
I've got no story to tell. I'm too tired.
Once upon a
Too
time.
tired from doing the baby shower today.
Oh, yeah. Chick is so nerved.
I can't sit up in this chair. All right.
Well, if you get to watch this video,
Ooh.
Polly, you're welcome back in the room. But you are under observation for your behaviour. Simple as that.
I don't know.
All the 5th of July story is very scary. It started on the 4th of July at the base of Mount Rushmore, where people gathered in their millions to watch the prophet.
Of seeds.
No, of Trump. And a great strike of lightning came down. Everyone ran for the hills. Some hid in the nostrils of the carved men on the mountain. Some just fled. But come the 5th of July, things changed. Now, if you want to hear the rest of the story, it'll be another time, because we've got to go back to Middle Earth. See you later.